Okay, my friends, here it is. The much requested video on how to make a homemade rooting hormone and general root growth stimulator. Now, I'm going to say some things about it, and then I will take you in the basement and show you how to make this wonderfully effective elixir. But first, you have to understand, how did I come into this knowledge and how do I know that it works? Because many years ago, when I was a grower in Northern California on a commercial type operation, you could say, we used to spend thousands of dollars on this one product called Tappin' Roots, among many other products. But Tappin' Roots, because it gave us really good power to propagate the clones. It was very effective in just helping boost the overall vigor of the plants, especially the clones, which is why I'm making this video, because some of you guys sent me some blackberry cuttings, so now I'm going to use this rooting hormone. Anyways, as the years went by, I began to get tired of spending thousands of dollars on this product, and so I got wise and I looked at the back of it and it said, ingredients, willow extract and kelp extract. I thought, well, that's it. So I did more research and then I found out, okay, well, maybe I can make my own. What would willow and what would kelp do? Well, it turns out that willow contains several different hormones, but one in particular is the indole butyric acid, and that is very helpful for stimulating cell division in the roots of plants. Another one is the salicylic acid, which also helps to bolster the plant defense mechanisms. So it helps to keep them from getting sick. Also, the willow contains the well-known plant hormone auxin, which helps to stimulate more cell division in all parts of the plant. It's just a wonderful tonic. So I said, okay, willow, that's going to be one of the ingredients. But then kelp. Now, how does kelp help? Now, kelp contains all sorts of wonderful plant growth stimulating compounds. And because everything eventually flows to the sea contains so many minerals. And so we're utilizing the gift from the sea, which is the kelp, which also contains hormones, auxins, also contains cytokinins, also gibberellins, and other compounds that will stimulate cell division. And this is what we want, while also nourishing the life in the soil. And as the years went by and the experimentations happened, I found this recipe, which is very simple, very easy. You will see it, but it totally replaced all of those thousands of dollars we used to spend. Guys, seriously, the Tappin' Root stuff is like $290 per gallon, okay? And you have to use an ounce per gallon. So anyways, I'm going to show you how to make a free version, basically, of the Tappin' Roots. And then when we come back, I will tell you exactly how to use it. It's very important. Okay, my friends, the first thing we got to do is find us some willow trees. Now, there's many different varieties of willows, but we want to get them into the early spring like this, to where the leaves are just starting to form. Now, we want to go up and we want to find that new growth. This is very important. Do you see how this stuff is very supple? We can wrap it, do this test, wrap it around your hand, and you don't want it to break at all, because the growth hormones that we need are going to be located in the highest concentration in the fresh, new, young growth that looks green or kind of red. You do not want it to do this. You see how it snaps? Even though there's leaves on it, it's brittle. We don't want to hear that sound, okay? So find you a bunch of the nice, fresh, young growing tips, and we are going to take a good size handful of just the tips. We don't want anything bigger than, well, not even a pencil. We don't even want it that thick. So here is what it should look like. A bunch of fresh, young growing tips, going to be highly concentrated in all of the hormones that we want and need. So next step is we are going to make an extraction of sorts, and here we have roughly 2 liters, we'll say, of the tips. And so we're going to chop them up and put them into a blender. Now, the blender's not totally necessary. You can just chop them up and pound them, but I found it works best to use a blender. So we're going to put a little bit of the water in there, and we're going to blend it into a slurry. And that is going to give us the maximum amount of surface area, because look at how finely chopped up everything is. Now we're going to pour that into our half-gallon jar along with all of the fiber material. So we want to get all that good stuff in there, all right? Again, the blender's not totally necessary. Whatever you got to do to make it look like this kind of consistency. You see how much more surface area there is and how much more can be extracted than just cutting them up and placing them into the jar? So I found this is the best method. Next thing we want to do is take some of that high quality kelp And we want to make sure that it's the good stuff, guys. You should smell like the fresh seaweed. It should smell like the fresh ocean. It should smell sort of marine life, and it should be dry and not rancid, no molds on it or anything like that. And so we're going to use roughly a cup of this. Don't get hung up on the measurements too much, guys. Just use roughly these measurements. And we're going to give it a good shake so that everything is mixed up nice and good together. And it will look like this, your slurry. Now, we want to fill it the rest of the way with the good, clean water. I'm using reverse osmosis water, but you don't have to, but that's what I like to use. Now, we're going to set it on the shelf. And every hour or every couple hours, we want to shake it. And then we're going to put it back on the shelf. And then we're going to shake it again every couple hours for 24 hours, maximum 48 hours. And then it's going to be ready to extract, because we do not want it to begin to ferment. We don't want any kind of gnarly smells. We don't want any bubbles. We don't want it to ferment, okay? So we just want it to be like this. There shouldn't be any gnarly activity like the rest of our ferments. Now we're going to strain it off, and you can see here that it's gellular and globulous in nature. It's very thick. This is how you know that you did it right, is when it's nice and thick. You don't want that watery, cut down substance, okay? Now we really want to ensure that we are getting all the good stuff out of this, so use the spatula and press it out. It's not edible, by the way. And so we want to take this stuff and we want to put it into a jar. Now this we are going to refrigerate. Remember, guys, we don't want any kind of decomposition. This isn't a ferment like the other ones. So it should be nice and thick. So we're going to use this stuff at 1 ounce a gallon of water. We're going to mix it up, and we can use this for everything, guys. We can apply this foliarly. We can apply this in any way to any plants. It's going to help stimulate everything, except mushrooms. It doesn't help those. But yes, we want to use them for these blackberry, these fig tree cuttings, all these cuttings, the rosemary cuttings, and even these onions, which are going crazy. We need to trim them. So there you go, my friends. Now you know how to make this stuff. Now here's the thing. You want to keep this in the refrigerator, because remember, we do not want any decomposition. We're not trying, it's not a ferment of any kind. It's just an extract. It's just, we don't want the smell, okay? So if you smell it, remember, it should smell like the sea. It should smell like seafood or seaweed. A pleasant smell. If it smells rancid, it's got to go. Or just put it on the compost pile. You know, it's not toxic, but it doesn't do what we want. So put this in the refrigerator and try to use this up within the next couple of weeks. But like I said, you can use it on all of your seedlings. You can foliar with it, 1 ounce a gallon. We always use it 1 ounce a gallon. So I'm going to take that stuff we made in the basement, and I'm going to fill this thing full of it. And that's what I'm going to let these cuttings root in for several weeks. Okay? Remember, you can't burn the plants with this. So long as, if you foliar it, it has to be in the dark at nighttime without the sun. But don't worry, you can use as much or as little as you want, and it will not harm the plants. If you feel like you gained something from the video, give it a thumbs up. Also, check out the links in the description. My Amazon storefront has everything that I use in my videos and in the garden. Also, every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time right here, we have a live Q&A. So if you need clarification, if you got questions about any of that stuff, I will see you right here at 12 noon. And I will direct you to this video here so that you can make the ultimate seedling fertilizer. Then just add 1 ounce a gallon of this rooting hormone to the seedling fertilizer.